She froze when the cab driver started singing her missing brother's lullaby. She heard it between the river and the parkway, when the cab slipped off Whacker and the driver began to hum. At first, it hid inside traffic. Then words surfaced, gentle and sure. "Sleep, little fox, the moon is your lamp," he sang. "The stars are seeds in the night." June Ellis went cold. That lullaby belonged to one person on Earth, her brother, Ben. He made it up when storms rattled their windows in Milwaukee, adding a line the week she wore a cast, promising brave bones heal fast. 10 years ago he vanished, walking home from the library. The song went silent, until now, in a Chicago cab on a bright afternoon. "Where did you learn that?" she asked. The driver's eyes met hers in the mirror. 40s, kind face. "This old tune," he said, "my granddad, keeps me calm." He hummed the extra line, word perfect. Coincidence felt too thin. "Could you pull over, please?" He eased to the curb on Columbus and clicked the blinkers. June paid with a card because her hands shook. "What's your name?" "Mason," he said. "Mason Price." "Who taught it to your granddad?" He shrugged. "No idea. Family stuff just floats down." She stepped into daylight. The lake pushed a cool breeze across the grass. Joggers flowed past. June tried to make sense of it. Her phone buzzed. Lena, her editor. "You close?" Lena asked. "We need to lock the teaser." "On my way," June said, moving toward the studio. She produced a podcast called After the Echo. Stories about small sounds from the past ringing into the present. Now an echo had found her, and it wore Ben's voice. In the elevator, she replayed the exact words. Last winter, she promised no more blind searches unless a fact tapped her shoulder. This felt like a tap. Their office was bright. Lena sat with a laptop. Mark, their sound designer, spun a dial. "You look pale," Lena said. The cab driver sang Ben's lullaby, June said. Silence. Both had lived through June's long hunt and the day she boxed the... "Are you sure?" Lena asked. "He knew the brave bones line," June said. "Give me the details," Lena said. June told it clean. The route, the mirror, the baritone, the name, the granddad claim, the exact words. "Maybe he heard it from Ben," Mark said. "That's the only kind of possible I can live with," June said. Lena nodded. "Then we do it right. No message boards, no guesses. We build a timeline and record as we go." Mark lifted the recorder. "The sound will do the work. First step is finding Mason," June said. "I didn't get a plate." "Receipt?" Lena asked. June forwarded the charge. "Done. I'll chase the company for contact," Lena said. "Mark, post a call to listeners." He posted a short call to listeners. They recorded a teaser. June kept it simple. The curve by the river, the tune, the promise. She said Ben's name once and let it sit. Mark mixed fast. Lena pushed it live. Messages landed within an hour. A voicemail from a woman whose grandfather hummed the same song. A tweet from a driver near Union Station. An email from a retired librarian. Lena opened a map on the board. 2 pins, then 4. June felt careful hope she hardly trusted. As sun slid behind the buildings, June's phone rang. An unknown number. She answered on speaker with Lena and Mark listening. "Hello?" A man's voice, cautious. "Is this the host asking about the fox and the moon?" "Yes," June said. "I think you're looking for my brother," he said. "Mason Price. He didn't learn that song from our granddad." A pause. He learned it from his college roommate, who sang it when he couldn't sleep. Kid from Milwaukee. Name was Ben. The room went still. June pressed the phone close. "Can we talk?" she asked. "We can," he said. "But you should know Mason isn't always steady. Routine helps. Daylight routes help." He sings because it steadies him. I don't want to make anything worse, June said. I just need to know where the song came from. Meet me tomorrow morning, he said. 10 o'clock. Diner on Western with a blue door and a neon fox in the window. I'll bring Mason if it's a good day. What's your name? Caleb, he said. Caleb Price. Thank you, Caleb, June said. The call ended. Lena let out a breath. Mark rolled back in his chair. We have a thread, he said. June stared at the city. She pictured Ben on a campus she had never seen, with a friend she had never met. She pictured the Lullaby, leaving their small house and finally finding her again. She picked up her bag. I'll be at the diner at 9:45, she said, and I'll bring a recorder. Outside, the lights along the river clicked on, steady as a heartbeat at dusk. The diner on Western had a blue door and a neon fox in the window. Morning light came through the blinds in stripes. June arrived early, ordered black coffee, and chose a corner booth where she could see the door. Her recorder sat beside the sugar packets, quiet and ready. She rehearsed gentle questions and also rehearsed stopping because Caleb warned that routine mattered. In her bag, she carried one photo of Ben from freshman year, a softer one, a boy in a hoodie with a kind, tired smile. At 9:57, Caleb came in with Mason. Caleb was tall and deliberate. Mason wore a navy cap with a cab patch. He scanned the room, found the booth, and sat without meeting June's eyes. Caleb slid in beside him and gave June a small nod. Mason, Caleb said, calm. This is June. She makes a show about how sounds carry. She wants to ask about the song you hummed yesterday. Mason touched the rim of his cap. I can try, he said. June kept her voice soft. Thank you for meeting me. If anything feels bad, we stop. Mason's shoulders eased. Okay. How did that song start in your life? June asked. Mason looked at Caleb. Caleb said, one step at a time. Mason nodded. First year at Lakeview College, he said. My roommate could not sleep. The city felt loud, then the quiet felt louder. He would breathe fast. I counted with him. One night he sang under his breath, Fox and Moon, Seeds in the Night. I asked what it was. He said, a family thing. June kept her face still. Do you remember his name? Ben, Mason said. Benjamin. He said Milwaukee when people asked where he was from. He read a lot. He kept index cards in his pockets with words he liked. When parties banged on doors, he put a kettle on and offered tea. People laughed, then took the tea. He came back for second year, but not for long, Mason said. He said he was taking fewer classes to help his sister. He said she was brave. He said she loved radio. June pressed her hands flat so they would not shake. Did he say her name? Mason studied the toast. He did. He said June. She set the photo on the table. This is Ben. Is that who you knew? Mason looked and nodded. Yes, he said. The eyes are the same. We can pause, Caleb said. I am okay, June said. What happened after second year? One day he did not come back from the library, Mason said. Rumors started. Someone said he transferred. Someone said he left a note. I did not see a note. I kept his extra mug for a semester. The hall monitor told me to box it. I mailed it to the address on his file. It came back. June wrote on a napkin. Classes he liked? Urban ecology, Mason said, and a seminar with maps. He said maps made him feel less lost. Did he ever sing the lullaby all the way through? June asked. Once, Mason said. There is a verse about brave bones. He sang it when I had a broken wrist from a fall. He said the line helped his sister when she wore a cast. He laughed that he had written it. Tears pricked June's eyes. That was me, she said. Ben wrote the line for me. Then the song belongs to both of you, Mason said. June turned to Caleb. Thank you for arranging this. Mason drives day shift, Caleb said. Songs keep the edges smooth. Yesterday, he said a woman in his cab froze when he hummed. He thought he had done harm. "You did not," June said to Mason. "You gave me a gentle sign." Mason looked relieved. "Good." June asked to record. Mason said yes. She set the recorder by the napkin and began. She kept questions simple. Dates, places, the kettle, the notes on cards. The tape caught dishes and the doorbell. When they finished, Mason asked if June wished to hear the full song. She nodded. He waited for a radio ad, then sang in a low voice, steady and warm. "Sleep, little fox. The moon is your lamp. The road is a river of light. Brave bones heal. Morning is real, and home is the sound you invite." The line fell through June like rain after a dry month. She whispered thanks. Outside, Caleb said one more thing. Mason kept a box from the dorm. It has cards with words. He wanted to give them back if he found Ben. "The box is at our mom's place in Bridgeport." "Can we see it today?" June asked. "Yes," Caleb said, "but it needs to be a calm visit, short, with notice." "We will go at your pace," June said. They set early afternoon. On the sidewalk, June called Lena. "We have confirmation," she said. "Name, college, and a box that might hold Ben's notes. I am going to Bridgeport." Lena said she and Mark would meet her with mics. June turned to Mason. "Thank you for trusting me," she said. Mason tipped his cap. "Thank you for asking with care," he said. They parted with a plan. June walked toward the train with the song in her head and a new map in her pocket. Hope felt steady again. The house on South Carpenter Street leaned with age. June stood at the gate with Lena and Mark as Caleb opened the door. The air smelled like bread and old books. Caleb's mother, Nora, waved from the kitchen. Mason waited on the couch with his cap in his lap and a shoebox on his knees. "It's here," he said, holding the box as if it might crumble. "I saved it in case." June sat on the rug. "Thank you for trusting us." He passed the box. It rattled softly. Inside were index cards with single words in sharp pencil. Still, Arc, Remember, Fox, Lamp. Under them lay a folded schedule from Lakeview College, creased from a pocket. At the bottom, in blue ink, "Find the quiet." Mark set up a mic on the coffee table. Lena whispered, "Ambient gold." June smiled thinly and lifted the cards one by one. Each word felt like a tap on glass. "These are his," she said. His handwriting loops on the downstrokes. Nora brought tea. Mason watched her pour. Ben read the words like spells, he said. He would try them aloud, gentle first, then sharp. "Did he ever mention where he went after he left?" June asked. "He said Lakeview Library," Mason said. "And a place near water, where people forgot the time. Then he was gone." "Did campus search for him?" Lena asked. "For a while," Caleb said. "Then semesters roll forward." June turned over the class schedule. Faint smudge at the corner. She rubbed it clean. An address in tiny script. "Hastings Dock," she read. "That's near the shipyard," Mark said. "Why would a student go there?" "Maybe because no one else did," June said. They planned quickly. Caleb offered to drive. Nora packed sandwiches. Mason hummed low. They left by noon in Caleb's old sedan, windows down, the lullaby thin under the highway. Hastings Dock lay gray and quiet, gulls wheeling over rusted cranes. The office was locked. June circled the lot and found an old mural on the warehouse wall. Blue fox curled under a crescent moon. Her chest tightened. "He came here," she said. Mark filmed wide shots. Lena searched the cracks for clues. June pushed the door. It groaned open. The air inside was cool and smelled of rope. Dust sheets covered crates. Sunlight striped the floor through broken panes. In the corner stood a metal locker. June tugged. It stuck, then gave. Inside, a backpack. Faded canvas, initials BE stitched in black. She unzipped it. Books, pens, a spiral notebook warped by time. The first page said, "The Sound of Staying." Pages followed with sketches of docks, notes on wave rhythms, lists of sounds at night, horn, bell, water slap. The last entry stopped midline. "If I follow the sound." June pressed her hand to the paper. "He was here," she whispered. "He stood where I'm standing." Mark filmed her voice breaking. Lena rested a hand on her shoulder. Caleb said quietly, "So where did he go next?" Behind the locker lay a narrow stair to a loft. June climbed. At the top, dust coated everything except one clear strip by a window. A nail stuck from the sill. A ribbon hung from it, frayed but bright blue. Tied to the end was a note in Ben's loops. "If you find this, you are still my map." Tears blurred everything. She held the ribbon as if it could anchor the world. "He left me a sign." They packed the notebook and ribbon into her bag. As they stepped into daylight, sirens wailed far off. June looked back once. The mural fox seemed to watch her. In the car, Lena said, "This proves he made it this far. He wasn't taken. He walked away." "But why?" Mark asked. "Because he was searching for quiet," June said. "And maybe he thought I had enough noise." They drove in silence until Mason said, "Ben liked trains. He said rails sound like memory." June stared at the tracks paralleling the highway. She pictured Ben boarding a train at dawn, leaving the dock behind. Back at the office, they spread the evidence on the board. Photo of the backpack, scans of the notes, map pins. June traced the arc from Lakeview to Hastings. Next, she called a contact at Amtrak and asked for old passenger logs. While she waited on hold, Lena whispered, "If he left by train, there might be a ticket record." The operator returned. "Benjamin Ellis," June said, "Milwaukee native, travel between October and December 10 years ago." Keys clicked. "One record," the operator said. "October 14th, dawn train to Great Falls, Montana. Purchased cash at Union Station." "Thank you," June said. She hung up slowly. "He went west." "Montana," Mark said. "What's in Montana?" "Quiet," June said. "Wide and full of it." She stared at the map. The arc stretched almost to the edge of the board. Her heart pulled with it. "We have a place," Lena said. "We can follow." June touched the ribbon in her pocket. "We will." The train curved through yellow grasslands under a wide sky. June sat by the window with the recorder in her lap, Lena asleep on her shoulder, Mark editing waveforms on his laptop. The wheels made a low rhythm like breathing. Every mile carried her closer to where Ben's trail had gone thin. They reached Great Falls near dusk. The air was crisp and smelled of pine. Caleb had flown ahead to meet them with a rental van. He waved on the platform. Mason waited by his side, hands tucked in his jacket, cap tilted low. Seeing them there steadied June more than she expected. "The station still keeps 10-year-old manifests," Caleb said as they loaded bags. "Your contact found a signature. Ben signed B. Ellis on a luggage tag and left it blank. Did he give a destination?" June asked. "Just the city," Caleb said. "No address, but I asked around. A station clerk remembers a quiet guy who kept asking where the river trail started. He left on foot with a map." They drove along the Missouri River as night came on. Cabins dotted the bank like lanterns. June imagined Ben walking here, the song in his head, looking for silence wide enough to breathe in. They found a small lodge on the outskirts and checked in. June could not sleep. She spread Ben's notebook pages on the bedspread, tracing each margin note. In the final margin was a sketch, a bridge, low and wooden, over water, labeled "Where the Fox Waits." She searched online and found an old trail blog mentioning a fox bridge on the river trail 10 miles north. At dawn, she showed the others. They packed cameras, mics, and the shoebox of words. The trail curled through cottonwoods. Frost laced the grass. Mason hummed to keep pace. Birds startled from the brush. After 2 hours, the trees thinned and the river widened. There, spanning the water, stood a wooden bridge with a carving of a fox on its rail. June's breath caught. The boards creaked under their steps. Halfway across lay a tin box, rusted but whole. Her name was etched faintly on the lid. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside were letters, folded tight. The first began, "Dear June, if you are reading this, the world was still kind enough to bring you here." Ben's handwriting was steady. "I walked away because I could not hear myself under all the noise. I did not vanish to escape you. I went quiet so I could return whole. I am not done being your brother. I am just far away, building the silence into something I can share. When I am ready, I will find your voice on the air and follow it home." The second letter held pressed wildflowers. The third held a key and a small map marked with a cabin symbol. At the bottom, he had written, "When the world grows too loud, this is your place too." June sank to the planks, the river rushing below. Tears came, clean and unhidden. Lena knelt beside her, silent. Mark filmed with his eyes wet. Mason watched the sky. Caleb set a hand on her shoulder, steady as stone. "He's alive," June whispered. "He's alive and he still knows me." They followed the map along a side trail to a clearing. A small cabin stood there, cedar walls silvered with time. Wind chimes whispered on the porch. June used the key. The door opened with a sigh. Inside were books, dried herbs hanging from beams, a desk with lined paper, a shortwave radio, and a wall covered in pinned words on cards like stars. In the center was a photo of June from high school, smiling with a cast on her arm. Under it, Ben had written, "Brave Bones." The air smelled of pine and ink. It felt alive with his absence and his care. June walked to the desk and found a fresh page with one line. "Soon." The word felt like sunrise. Outside, the river ran silver. June set the recorder on the porch rail and spoke. 10 years ago, my brother disappeared. Today, I found his promise. He is not lost. He is building a place where silence can heal. He left it open for me." The lullaby rose in her throat. She sang softly, the words they once whispered under storms. Mason joined, then Lena, then Mark. Their voices braided into the wind, carrying out across the water, where somewhere, maybe close, Ben might hear. As they walked back through the trees, June knew the search was no longer a hunt. It was a path, and he was on it too, walking home by sound. As the river faded behind them, June's voice lingered on the recording, steady, sure. "If you hear this, Ben, the world is quiet now. Come home." The tape clicked off, and only the wind answered, carrying her words toward the horizon where he might be listening.